good about
Is
that.
that St. Louis Metro or
No, this is the United
Nation?
States.
United States? Oh,
Yeah.
fantastic! So,
So
where is the
it'll be
ceremony?
in Springfield at the Springfield Art Museum. That's where they're going to give the award.
Springfield, Illinois, or Missouri?
Missouri.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So that's in June. I'm giving workshops. I'm giving
Welcome to the Cryptocurrency Odyssey Show. The Cryptocurrency Odyssey Show highlights the latest news on cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, disruptive technology, economics, and world events. They interview top thinkers and entrepreneurs in the industry, and they cover topics like Bitcoin, technology developments, investing, trading, and ICOs. As our world keeps getting more and more digital, cryptocurrencies are changing along with it. Okay, audience, here's the host of Cryptocurrency Odyssey, Matt Leach.
Hello, listeners. Welcome back. Today's show is about Bitcoin and what it means to you. We're going to talk about the intricacies of Bitcoin and get us all more educated about this platform for cryptocurrency. And my co-host today is Mike Grimes. He'll be helping me educate all of us about this. Hi, Mike. It's great to see you back here again.
Good to be back.
Great, great. Now, here's a quick description of Bitcoin, and without turning this into a big job, let's get started. The show today is an updated explanation of the current state of the Bitcoin industry, and we've updated and improved the content, of course, because you, our listeners, have asked for more Bitcoin information. And today we'll have a look at how, as a user of Bitcoin, cryptocurrency could be an economic path to freedom for you. Now, Bitcoin is a pioneering digital currency invented by an as yet unknown individual or group of individuals known as Satoshi Nakamoto. Early development began in 2008 during the financial crisis of 2008. Excuse me, with the landmark paper titled Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, being released on October 31st, 2008. The primary purpose of Bitcoin is in the space of peer-to-peer financial transactions, although some supporters envision it more as a store of value. Now, often called digital gold for its monetary properties, which are similar to gold, the enduring popularity and market resilience of Bitcoin has encouraged the growth of other cryptocurrencies, and as a result, it's come to be known as the mother or father of all cryptocurrencies. Now, initially limited to all but the most ardent technology enthusiasts, Bitcoin was responsible for convincing the masses that a peer-to-peer financial system devoid of middlemen and centralized was in fact possible. A characteristic made possible through its proof-of-work consensus algorithm, which incentivized good behavior. Now, since its inception in early 2009, Bitcoin's been through a number of changes and incidents, yet continues to thrive as the most popular token in the cryptocurrency market. Now, this includes the famous Mt. Gox incident and several such cycles of price spikes and drops. The enduring nature of Bitcoin is a quality that's highly cherished by its proponents, mainly many tokens that have been inspired by it, including similarly visioned Litecoin, which has the symbol LTC, is often said to be the silver to Bitcoin's gold. And because of the popularity and established nature of Bitcoin, it's often the base pair with which other cryptocurrencies are traded. And so, without any more ado, we'll talk with Mike Grimes about his stake in Bitcoin. And now that we've got that all out in the open, Mike, what backs or supports Bitcoin?
Well, Matt, Bitcoin's been of interest to me, and it runs on something called a blockchain, which is a software system also often described as an immutable digital ledger. It resides on thousands of computers all over the world, maintained by a mix of ordinary people and more sophisticated computer experts, known collectively as miners. Yahoo's finance, Jared Bilkrey, dabbles as a Bitcoin miner, running mining software in the background of his laptop. But there's much more to Bitcoin that is generated so far. At the current rate, it would take about 1,200 years to mine one complete Bitcoin. That gives you a sense of how complex it is to mine Bitcoin and how much processing power it takes. These computerized mining rigs throw off so much energy they can heat your home. All Bitcoin transactions are permanently recorded by miners who upload bundles of transactions or blocks to the chain maintained on all those computers. Blockchain as a technology has become popular among banks and other big financial institutions who want to use it to settle payments on their back-end systems. But they are mostly interested in blockchain without Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's an interesting item that the energy could heat your home. And here's one reason. Here's today's Bitcoin news. Bitcoin is up over 40,000 today, and it took a jump, I guess, here on this morning. So they're saying that Bitcoin's been struggling along with risk assets in recent months. It's largely traded in the range of 35 to 45,000 this year, and it was down, but this morning it's up. So I guess that makes you happy. You've got a lot of Bitcoin.
Well, I don't have a lot of Bitcoin, but that's what I've selected to have my access to cryptocurrencies. And I'm a computer nut when it comes to this stuff. I was a stockbroker for 30 years before I retired, and I use a lot of the technical techniques that I used following stocks on this Bitcoin because, well, just for instance, Matt, if you look at the charts of Bitcoin and you use a technical analysis tool called slow stochastics, you can actually trade Bitcoin 11 times this year. You can actually buy it below 20 and sell it above 80 11 different times. The nice thing about that is right now this morning it broke above 20. So what we have are two things going on: a break for the people that follow this research above 20, and a 30-day moving average is just at 1 point away, up at 42,000. So this could be an interesting day as it powers through. A lot of buys come in when it breaks this 20 figure, and then once it hits that 42,000 figure, you should see it make a move towards the 200-day moving average.
Okay, so you think it's going to go up some more?
Well, it seems like the markets are up. The stock and bond markets are up today. Bitcoin's following that and making a move actually late yesterday, and it's following through today. And it'll be interesting if it breaks that 30-day moving average today, and then it's up for how high it can go on this move. Here's the interesting thing about this slow stochastics. As soon as it hits 80, it goes from 20 to 80. If you're disciplined, that's when you sell it. So it really doesn't matter how high Bitcoin wants to go. It just trades between 20 and 80, and we're taking 80% of the move every time it makes one of these moves.
Okay. So does Bitcoin tend to follow the stock market when the stock market goes up and Bitcoin goes up? Or
Well, it's kind of a contrary asset class. When stock markets are weak, Bitcoin is strong. But when the stock markets are strong, Bitcoin's strong. Well, so the thought is there's going to be a lot of money with these increases in interest rates. You're going to see a lot of money pulled out of the market and go into the cryptocurrency market.
Oh, that's an interesting concept for sure. Now, what actually creates the value in Bitcoin?
Well, the price of Bitcoin fluctuates based on buying and selling, just like a stock. But there's a ton of debate over whether what the price represents. In theory, the value of Bitcoin could reflect investors' faith in Bitcoin as a technology, but in reality, investors see Bitcoin as a commodity because of its finite supply. Under Satoshi's blueprint, total supply of Bitcoin will eventually be capped at 21 million Bitcoins. At the moment, there's 16.7 million Bitcoins have been created. A fractional amount of the new coins get created every time a miner uploads a block to blockchain, which is a reward for mining.
Okay, so I have an article here that I read about Bitcoin mining, and they're questioning whether Bitcoin mining is still profitable. They say that Bitcoin mining is the process of earning bitcoins in exchange for running the verification process to validate Bitcoin transactions. And these transactions provide security for the Bitcoin network, which in turn compensates miners by giving them Bitcoins. So miners can profit if the price of Bitcoins exceeds the cost to mine them. And the recent changes in mining devices and technology and the creation of professional mining centers with enormous computing power, as well as the shifting price of Bitcoin itself, has shifted the incentives and landscapes for mining. So now a lot of individual miners are asking themselves, is Bitcoin mining still profitable? And I assume it is, but even the costs of energy and electricity to run all those computers has gone up too.
Well, yeah, 21 million coins total, and they're at 16.7, call it 17. There's only 3 or 4 million coins left to be mined. So there's some thought that by 2010 they'll be fully mined.
You think so, huh? By 2000, when? 30?
Well, this is 22.
Right.
I said 2010.
Yeah.
That'd be tough. But no, by the end of, in 10 years, they're supposed to be completely mining Bitcoins.
Okay. So I guess it's closer. Originally, I think they said 2030, wasn't it?
Which would be 8 years.
Yeah, so we've got a couple of years left, huh? Okay, so here's a quick reminder, audience. You're listening to the Cryptocurrency Odyssey show, coming to you every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. on Zeno FM, KMTC St. Louis, on the My Genre Radio Network. Now, Mike, next question is there actually a physical coin called Bitcoin?
No, you can't touch a Bitcoin because it's essentially software. But you may have seen images of gold coins with a B on them. Those are souvenirs that can be converted into actual Bitcoin, but they're better for illustrating news stories that are streams of numbers and letters that resemble the actual blockchain.
Okay. There are actually a handful of Bitcoin ATMs around, and Bitcoin's not a physical currency, though. But I guess there's some.
I had some experience with one of those actual. I was stopped to get gas over on, I don't know, somewhere here in St. Louis, but and it was funny. I went in to pay for the gas, and I saw something yellow off to my right. And I looked at it, and it's a Bitcoin ATM. I mean, you can imagine. I had to do it, so I went and bought $20 worth of Bitcoin, and paid for it with a credit card, and actually took a scan of my Bitcoin, my wallet that I use to hold this stuff, and it showed in about 10 minutes up in the wallet. It was kind of interesting. So, people say, how do I buy Bitcoin? Well, stop at your gas station and get some there.
Yeah, that's interesting because here yesterday I found out that the little store around the corner, he's like a neighborhood Quick Trip. Okay, but it's not. I hate to say Quick Trip because he's not a Quick Trip, but he's a little neighborhood store where you can run in and get a gallon of milk or cigarettes or whatever, and he has a Bitcoin machine in there.
Yeah, and I first I heard about it was in Sparta, Illinois. If you can imagine, small little town with a Bitcoin machine. But it's getting there. You're going to see. People ask me, how do I buy Bitcoin? Well, one way to do it is to buy it from one of these Bitcoin machines. But you do need to have a wallet. You need a wallet that can hold the Bitcoin, a digital wallet. I use crypto.com, but you have to have it because that's what they scan, that number, to transfer the Bitcoin you bought in that machine to your wallet on the outside.
And you want to get that number right so that it doesn't go into somebody else's wallet.
Yeah, those are important numbers. There's a two-step process, that number plus a private number that I have that protects me, that somebody can go into my wallet and take my Bitcoin.
Yeah. So that's pretty much the standard procedure for all cryptocurrency in the market.
Sure.
For all the different ones. Now, do you think that Bitcoin value is completely determined by the free market?
Well, for the most part, yes. I mean, it's an asset class. I mean, it trades like, anything else you might. Matter of fact, the chart system that I have has a Bitcoin chart. So it's a stock chart system, and it has a Bitcoin chart. For the most part, I would say yes. There's a known and limited supply of Bitcoin, so that when the demand goes up, so does the price. Technical innovation also contributes to Bitcoin's value. It was a novelty when it was first created in 2009, and the market has determined for now that it's an invention that's worth something. So there is a value.
Okay. So that's again, that's a interesting. That it's following standard economic principles, I guess, and less creates more desire for it, and more drops the price.
Well, we've talked about this before. The reason you want to look at something like a Bitcoin with 21 million coins is that's a finite amount of coins. I like to tell people 56 million millionaires in this country, 56 million decide they want Bitcoin. There's only 21 million Bitcoin. Well, how do 56 million by 21 million? They pay more for it.
Right.
And that's why you'll see Bitcoin go up and away. Bitcoin to the moon.
There you go. Now, the price volatility of Bitcoin has left a lot of skeptics questioning the mathematical and economic basis of price movements while searching for a generalized justification. Because of its decentralized nature, Bitcoin doesn't follow the monetary policy of governments, and Bitcoin is not backed by any underlying asset or government. This creates skepticism among investors and consumers who appreciate the price stability signals that a fiat currency enjoys from government policy and support. So, do you see that changing at any time in the future, or?
Well, no, Bitcoin's Bitcoin. I was reading of something. I wasn't really listening to you.
Yeah,
Matt.
okay. Well, I was thinking about the skepticism part. A lot of investors are skeptical of Bitcoin because it isn't backed by the government.
Well, that's an interesting point. El Salvador, as a country, adopted Bitcoin as its currency. They were using the U.S. dollar, by the way. And we need to mention that the U.S. dollar is a fiat currency by definition with $31.5 trillion worth of debt behind it. Debt causes inflation. Inflation devalues your investment. Well, I've been told that if you don't like the way the dollar's going and the debt they're putting behind it, take a look at Bitcoin. It's another currency, but it's not backed by debt. It's backed by a finite amount of coins. And a lot of people with a lot of money are saying, well, wait a minute. Why do I have to sit with all my money in a fiat currency that's with 31.5 trillion in debt? Why don't I move some of it over time to an asset class that doesn't have that problem? So that's why I think you're seeing a lot more skepticism disappear as people attempt to put it over in there and then see that not only does it stay there like their bank account does, but it goes up in value every now and then.
Yeah.
Not down in value because of inflation.
Now, I was reading that there was a couple of other countries that were thinking of doing the same thing as El Salvador, and I haven't heard whether they did it and what was the results of that.
I haven't heard of any others that have taken it as their currency, but I did hear of two countries that have declared bankruptcy. And that means their fiat currency has failed. And one thing to do is watch what El Salvador is doing and duplicate that to bring that in. Now, Bitcoin's pretty, I would say confusing in some cases. And how can a country like El Salvador take that as a currency? Well, the people don't have to know about Bitcoin, but you can distribute it to each person. They can trade with it with other people. So it does work to take over another currency. And obviously, if currencies go bankrupt, they have to find something else. And if there is a Bitcoin out there, there is, they can adopt it as their currency in their nation.
Mm-hmm.
And as that keeps going, remember, there's only 21 million of these things.
Right.
The more people adopt them, they got to pay more for them, and that's why it's a good trading vehicle also.
Okay. I mean, what would be involved in switching a country's fiat currency to Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency, I guess?
I guess you'd have to ask El Salvador, but they're just literally saying, look, we're going to adopt this platform. They're taking a different step. They're going to mine for Bitcoin with the volcano that they have in El Salvador. The heat that's generated from the volcano will
Great
run
idea.
a generator, and they'll use that electricity to mine for Bitcoin. Well, they're taking it another step. If you fly over El Salvador right now, the new city they're building is in the shape of a Bitcoin. I mean, so, to
Great
me,
design.
here's the thing: skepticisms on new asset classes. Should I do that? Is it backed by this or what? Well, it's happening with or without you. So I look at it this way: if it'll trade, it's going to trade in a pattern that I can follow and make money off of it. That's my interest in it. But it's also going to be available to anybody that doesn't like all the debt in the fiat currency, in the U.S. dollar at this case. Remember, debt causes inflation. Inflation devalues your asset class. So I want my assets in an asset class that goes up with inflation. And I really want it when they crack the markets because of inflation, really drive them down like they did in 2008, 2009.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you put that money? Into Bitcoin. There's only 21 million.
Yeah.
It's got to go up, is my opinion.
Yeah, that's interesting. Now, I like the geothermal energy aspect there of mining Bitcoin because countries like Greenland have that's how they heat all their homes is geothermal.
And
So they've got a lot of it.
It takes it even further. There's a company out there that I've been following that has 18 wheelers with Bitcoin machines in them. They drive out to the oil patch, and when you drill for gas or oil, it flares off natural gas.
Right.
Well, that's a flare off at no value to anybody other than probably bad for the environment. So now he drives these 18-wheel rigs up there, hooks them up to a generator. The flared off gas runs the generator, and he mines for Bitcoin with it. Now, as I'm researching this guy, he started with one 18-wheeler that he would drive around to the oil patch and create these Bitcoins. Now he's got 27 of them. All right, so if he had one and now he's got 27, I think he's got something working, to tell you the truth. And I'm interested in it because that's appealing to me. You create something out of nothing.
Exactly.
You're burning that stuff off, wasting it, and now you're diverting it to a cab that pulled up that's mining for Bitcoin and creating an asset for your company. That's pretty interesting.
That is really interesting. So is he's mining Bitcoin 24 hours a day then? Once he's set up, there's no reason to go anywhere,
You
right?
drive there, as long as they're bringing oil and flaring gas, you can use that gas to run the generator and mine for Bitcoin, and it's off the grid. It's just an asset that's being wasted.
Yeah.
And I tell you the truth, these big oil drillers offshore, they're flying those rigs out to them to mine for Bitcoin.
Ooh.
If you follow this the way I do, it's an intriguing asset class. I mean, there's a lot of things going in it that you wouldn't otherwise think about. One thing that it is intense electricity use to mine for this.
Right.
So if you're on a normal grid, what they're saying is if the grid has got excess power, they can mine with it. But they'll stop mining when there's a shortage of electricity. Think about that. Now they're going to run the electric grids because they're going to either mine or not mine. So Bitcoin, let me put it this way, it's not going away.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it. No. But I like that part about they're flying the truck out to the oil platforms.
Yeah.
And how are they doing that? How do they land? I mean, I guess it's a helicopter.
Helicopters take it out there and land it. They hook the generator up. They take the flared off gas into the generator to run the generator, and it creates electricity to run the truck that's got the Bitcoin machines in it. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, that is. I wonder, do the like the oil companies charge for that flare-off gas?
No, you see, it's a loss for the oil
For
companies.
it's a loss, but he just turned it into a gain.
It's a
though.
byproduct of oil exploration. So it's a loss. And a company like that that's publicly traded that can create that loss into an asset class for their investors, that's interesting to me. Versus, let's say, going out to a guy, in the fields doing it, in the Texas oil fields.
So he cut down the cost of generation, so his profit on the Bitcoin is more,
Well, he's creating an asset out
probably
of
a
nothing.
lot more.
And if you do it long enough and you get, but see, that's the thing. 21 million coins. We're at 17 million. How long, what happens when they get to a maximum amount? Wait a minute. And now you can't even have any more. It's just 21 million. That could be much higher for the cost of Bitcoin.
Oh yeah, that'll drive it way up, and that's a good point though. Will they come out with a Bitcoin 2, and only issue 21 million of those?
Well, there's 17,000 other coins out there.
Well, true. Yeah.
I'm sure one of them will get a play off this, but my feeling is if you're going to have an asset class that you have your money in, which would, as an alternative to the banks, you certainly want it short. You don't want it, long. You don't want too many of them out there.
Yeah, true. Now, amidst all this pioneering revolution going on, the risk of cryptocurrency could be money laundering and its use for financing terror, according to the finance director in India. And in her address at a seminar during the ongoing spring meeting of the Monetary Fund, she said, I think the biggest risk for all countries across the board will be the money laundering aspect and also the aspect of currency being used for financing terror. And that's, with the generating that you're talking about, where they're generating off of the gas that's being thrown away. I mean, I guess you could generate any cryptocurrency with that because, you've got the power.
Yeah, I've got a friend right here in St. Louis that is mining for Ethereum with his mining rigs that he's put together. He doesn't. He just has them in his business. He's set up about 50 different machines that are mining for Ethereum.
Okay.
So there'll be different things going on. It's a big market, but my focus is on this Bitcoin.
Okay, so he's not he's using regular electricity,
Sure.
plug in right from Ameren. And well, I guess my next question is, since this generation has gone up so much, how secure is Bitcoin?
Well, the Bitcoin blockchain by itself is very secure, but Bitcoins can be stolen from an account if thieves are able to log into your account and send the Bitcoin to another account they control. Once Bitcoin is transferred this way, it can't be recovered. Thieves typically break into other people's accounts by stealing logon and password information. This makes it extremely important to use all possible measures to safeguard your Bitcoin account, including two-factor authorization with a mobile phone. And you also have a private key, which is a third layer of security that you might need at some point. If there are questions about who's logging into your account, this key is typically a string of keyboard characters that should be stored when it can't be lost or stolen or accessed through the internet.
That's an important thing. You got to keep your information safe. Don't let anyone get to it. Don't tell anybody your public or your private key, for that matter, because that's where it is. And listeners, we're coming up on break time. So we're going to break for about 5 minutes or so, and we'll be right back. Stick around.
Commercial Energy Consultants is a 10-year-old company focusing on middle to large commercial accounts. CEC offers these companies services by lowering their electric and natural gas rates. They don't charge for this service, and they've got over 9,500 happy clients with over 1 billion kilowatt therms under contract. What makes them different is their reverse auction. CEC offers a way to have available suppliers in 17 states bid openly for energy business. Why, their mission is clear. Bring their clients the low bid for their energy consumption. In fact, because of their competitive auctions, energy consumers would be well advised to consult with CEC first. Why pay more for the exact same power? For more information, contact Mike Grimes, CEO of Commercial Energy Consultants at 1-877-212-1400. That's 877-212-1400.
Hey, listeners, saying thanks to your customers is nice and polite, but expressing your gratitude in memorable and ongoing ways can boost your business. At Promo Experts LLC, we exceed our customers' expectations. For over 20 years, our product knowledge and experience has helped them with their marketing initiatives and trade show graphics. We are happy to put that experience to work for you. Quality products, great customer service, and prices are our #1 priority. We work with you to find unique, creative, and new ideas that fit your image and expectations, helping you build strong relationships with your customers. When you select Promo Experts as your marketing partner, we help you to see more than the big picture. For more information about this exciting opportunity, contact Diane Carson, President, at 636-458-5241. That's 636-458-5241. Let Promo Experts help you to move your business brand beyond the bland.
Attention! Here are 5 things that you can do to avoid coronavirus scams based on the Federal Trade Commission guidelines. Number 1, do not respond to text messages, emails, or calls about checks from the government. The government never sends emails requiring that you do anything. Number 2, ignore online offers for vaccinations and home test kits. Number 3, hang up on robocalls. Scammers are using illegal robocalls to pitch everything from low-priced health insurance to work-at-home schemes. Number 4, watch for emails claiming to be from the CDC or the WHO. Use sites like coronavirus.gov or usa.gov/coronavirus to get the latest information, and don't click on links from sources that you don't know. Number 5, do your homework when it comes to donations. Never donate in cash, by gift card, or by wiring money. For more information to help you be prepared, contact Tony Zifilopoulos. He's a 25-year IT professional with the last 6 years specializing in cybersecurity. Tony is a certified information specialist auditor, and he will review your cybersecurity. Tony can be reached at 314-504-3974. That's 314-504-3974. And email TonyZ@fixvirus.com. His website is www.fixvirus.com.
Have you always wanted to write your own book but don't know where to start? Publishing Concepts, a publishing company located right here in St. Louis, offers everything from consulting, book printing, copyrights, ISBNs and barcodes, print book layout, ebook and iBook layout, graphic design, cover design, ghostwriting, typing and editing, distribution, marketing, and more for an affordable price. Visit PublishingConceptsLLC.com or just Google Publishing Concepts to get started today, or call 314-781-8880. That's 314-781-8880. Publishing Concepts. We help you sell more books.
Hi, listeners. We're back. If you're just now joining us, you're listening to the Cryptocurrency Odyssey Show on Zeno FM St. Louis at 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. every Monday to Friday. For more information, call me, Matt Leach, at 314-781-7612. That number again is 314-781-7612, or you can call our 800 number at 877-212-1400, and again, that's 877-212-1400. Now, we do have a new website, and the address of that new website is https:// ccodweb.us. And that's CCOD, in case it's not coming through well, is Charlie Charlie Oscar David and then web.us. So give it a try, take a look, and let us know what you think of it. Now, our discussion today is a beginning course for people that want to basically learn about cryptocurrency. And so that's what we're doing here. Let's continue talking about Bitcoin. And my next question is, how does Bitcoin generate revenue?
Well, is that revenue for me or revenue for Bitcoin?
I guess all of us.
No, the reason I say that is I was looking during the break at some of the free Bitcoin sites that I have.
Uh-huh.
I think we ought to mention those.
Sure.
You can actually, there's one called Free Bitcoin that you can go into every hour and roll for a number that'll give you a certain amount of Bitcoin. So, that's certainly a thought. The only problem with that particular site, I think it'll take about 50 years to get $10 worth of Bitcoin.
Exactly.
It pays you so little. For that reason, we found some other sites that pay much better, some conversion. I have one I'm playing with right now that I've already made $13 worth of Bitcoin in a month or so. So that's another thing about working with you, Matt. If you give us a call, we'd be happy to help you get into some of these free Bitcoin sites, show you how to do it, send you our links, and while you're playing around with your phone, why not earn Bitcoin?
Exactly. I've got about 12 different cryptocurrencies that I'm generating through the free sites. And again, I think that since November, since we started doing this, I have generated about $40 or $50 total out of those sites.
Yeah.
And hope to do more. I have links for all the sites. If you want to give us a call or check out the website, leave us a message, and we will get back to you. Leave your number and or the email you want us to email to, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and the action is, or what you have to understand is Matt and I are kind of seriously playing around with this. We've got some sites that are making money, but it might take you a year to find the profitable ones. If you give us a call, we'll cut your time down to make some money with these free sites than trying it on your own.
Yeah.
So give us a call.
We've already checked out the sites, and we have some good ones.
And bad ones.
And bad ones. We can tell you who the bad ones are, too. But again, on the other hand, there's always new ones showing up, arriving, and they may be getting better.
It's funny you say that. One of them allows you to look at ads, and one of the ads I just recently saw was for a free site that gives you six different Bitcoins every 6 hours. Lets you roll for 6 different every 6 hours. So 6 hours, 4 times a day, if you could stay up at night and do it. But
Yeah.
no, to me, if you're going to play in this game, why not get some free stuff? And then how do you get free stuff? You can withdraw what you earn in these free sites and put it in your digital wallet. And I do it all the time. I'll transfer one into my digital wallet, and then I'll convert it to Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I'm building my Bitcoin position.
That's one of the advantages of cryptocurrency is they are convertible to Bitcoin or pretty much any other currency you want.
Yeah, we're both playing one called Pi right now, which is not a coin yet. It's in its mainnet function, and I would think this year we'll probably see some action there where we'll actually get to take the coins we've mined on our phones over to a wallet and then transfer that to my own digital wallet and convert it to Bitcoin.
Yeah. So again, there's Pi is a big one right now. I'm seeing a lot of questions on groups like Quora. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but that's a question and answer website, and a lot of people are asking about Pi. So the word's getting out. Now, next question is there a value in cryptocurrency outside of black market transactions and ransoms and things like that?
Yeah, I don't like to put a lot of time in on the negative side of this, but that is one of the decentralized nature of this asset class. And there's no trace of it if you do it right with your keys. It does kind of lend itself for some bad black market and ransoms. But again, too, I'm just not one that likes to delve on the nasty side of it because I don't play on the nasty side of it.
Yeah, we just have to be aware of it, I suppose. And here's a cryptocurrency expert who got 5 years in prison, and he wasn't being a nice person, apparently. He was, let's see here, it says here he was sentenced last week to more than 5 years in federal prison for helping North Korea evade U.S. sanctions. Virgil Griffith pleaded guilty last year to conspiracy, admitting he presented at a cryptocurrency conference in Pyongyang in 2019, even after the U.S. government denied his request to travel there. So I don't know how he got there with all the airlines and the regulations. If they say you can't travel, it's pretty hard, I thought. But anyway, a well-known hacker, Griffith also developed cryptocurrency infrastructure and equipment inside North Korea. So that's probably not a good thing, you know.
Doesn't sound like a good deal to me.
No, I mean North Korea, they are
They're
trying to
pretty
build.
nasty.
They're trying to build missiles that'll reach the United States. So
I think they have them myself, but anyway.
you think they have them already?
Oh, I certainly do.
Okay. Okay. Well, I guess we'll leave that alone for the government. So, okay. So, my next question is, what's the difference between Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies?
Well, that depends on what cryptocurrency you want to know about, but there are thousands of them now. In fact, the last count, there were over 16,000 coins on the list. Some coins, like Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Gold, or Litecoin, resulted from forks off the main Bitcoin code. Then there were coins that run on their own blockchain, like Ether, that's that Ethereum we talked about, the token of Ethereum network, or XRP, the token of the Ripple network. There are more on the way. It almost changes daily.
Yeah, they're adding more coins and more profiles every day, basically. So, what now? You mentioned forks, okay, and I do see a lot of questions about the fork. What happens? What does it mean when a blockchain forks?
A fork happens when a community makes a change to the blockchain's protocol or basic set of rules. When this happens, the chain splits, producing a second blockchain that shares all of its history with the original, but is headed off in a new direction. A hard fork is when nodes of the newest version of the blockchain no longer accept the older version of blockchain, which creates a permanent divergence. I don't know if you noticed this last week, Ethereum was in the news with getting a fork to their program that duplicated, you can actually see now, a shadow transaction, a shadow fork is what they called it, of every transaction that's done on the Ethereum network. So whereas you had one, it's always nice to have that second one to verify the transaction, and they created a fork to do that, and it was actionable this week, is what I read. And today's Tuesday, so.
Okay, is that the Ethereum 2?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that was their, they went to proof of stake, I guess, on a proof of stake algorithm, and that is supposed to change everything, I guess. So I haven't really updated myself on that. Have you?
No, like I said, there's 17,000 of these coins, and I just don't have the time to look at each one of them. That's probably not a bad thing to do, but I have another position that I do. And so I'm comfortable with the trading capabilities of the Bitcoin cryptocurrency.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So here's my big question here: how much of the volatility of not just Bitcoin but cryptocurrency in general is due to whales influencing the market price versus new or outside investors.
Yeah, that term whales is an old term to us because institutional investors is what they're talking about. The people that buy millions of dollars at once, or millions of Bitcoins at once. And, while we don't know how many people are trading Bitcoin at any given time on the blockchain, which is there is a transaction log, which is public. The blockchain does show large trades taking place every day, but they're typically not big enough to generate the huge price swings we've seen. Also, keep in mind that in the stock market, large institutions typically break up their orders into much smaller ones to hide their size. Big buyers and sellers of Bitcoin could easily do the same. I noticed today, as we mentioned earlier, another thing that happens to these things is the technical chart process there's a lot of technicians out there that follow charts on stocks, and I'm sure a lot of them now, since that's how I found it, some of those same tools they use on stocks work over in this Bitcoin market.
Yeah, yes. I was noticing that they use the same trading platforms and the same trading assets. Well, not the assets, but the programs that tell you the stochastic.
Slow
Type.
stochastics. It's
Yeah.
interesting. It shows the buying pressure in the stock or in Bitcoin. But if you if you're like me and I have that knowledge from other thing that I did in my life, why not apply it to this current Bitcoin and see if it'll work? Matt, I'm not kidding you. There's been, since I started this, I've been in 4 trades with Bitcoin, and I've made money on each one of them.
Okay.
Buying it below 20, selling
That's
it
great
above
news.
80. There's been 11 all year, but I've been involved in the last 4, and all 4 in and outs have been profitable. Now that's pretty interesting to me because it's hard to make
100%.
money all the time. But no, all I'm saying is if you look at it like I do, you don't try to get the whole move. You're not going to catch the bottom or the top. But if you can catch 80% of those swings caused by these the volatility in this asset class, why not have your IRA play in that and make some money with it?
Yes, that's a good.
By the way, we
prospect.
found an IRA custodian that'll let you buy Bitcoin.
Okay, which one?
That's at First Trust.
Okay,
I don't know where they're out of, but I have an IRA with them that has dollars that I've earned, and I transferred some in there of my other stock IRAs, transferred them over there, and now when I get this signal like this morning, I'll just go on my phone actually and buy Bitcoin with the dollars that are in there.
that's great.
Which
Yeah.
is good for me because then if you look at it my way, I don't really care what happens to it after I buy it because I'm not going to sell it until it gets over 80.
Mm-hmm.
So it can go crazy, but the day I see that trade over 80, I'll sell that in my IRA. And I don't have to pay any taxes, and I just made some money.
That's a great way to do it. I'm getting ads all the time on my phone for new IRAs is one that seems to be a real big one, and other places that are working with cryptocurrency in one way or another, and they just seem to be coming out of the walls right now.
Venmo. My son has a real estate loan with me, and he pays me the interest that he owes me, and he Venmos it to me. Now, I didn't know what Venmo was until I received it. But the neat thing about Venmo is I can take the payment that he gives me once a month and put it in Bitcoin. So I can buy Bitcoin in Venmo. That's some new news.
Yeah, yeah.
Now the problem with them, and which I found out this week, is if you buy and sell, they only allow you to buy $50,000 worth of Bitcoin at Venmo.
Okay.
But if I take $10,000 in there and buy with it and sell it and then buy with the same 10,000 5 times, that equals the 50,000 maximum that they allow. So the last Bitcoin transaction I tried in Venmo, they wouldn't let me do because if I don't have $50,000 in Venmo, but I've bought and sold it enough times in those 4 trips that now I've traded over 50,000, and I'm going to have to just next time I go to cash and transfer it out of there, put it in something that I can trade more actively.
So the limit, that's the top limit. That's 50,000.
It's a cumulative limit.
Yeah,
And
cumulative limit.
It's
okay.
purchases. So if you buy and sell 10,000 5 times, you've hit their $50,000 limit.
Okay, and is that per year or forever?
I think it's an annual limit,
It's an annual limit.
but I won't be there for an annual. If they don't let me trade it, I'll just transfer it out to my wallet and trade it in there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that would be the easiest way to do it. Now, listeners, if you're now joining us, you are listening to the Cryptocurrency Odyssey show on Zeno FM St. Louis. And we are on the air at 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. every Monday to Friday. And for more information, you can call me, Matt Leach, at 314-781-7612. And again, that number is 314-781-7612. Or use our 800 number at 877-212-1400. And just so you can get it again, grab your pencil. It's 877-212-1400. And you can check us out at our new website also. That address is https://ccodweb.us also. And just leave us a message where to contact you and how to contact you, and we'll give you a call. Right now, I'd like to do the tip of the day. Recently, the crypto markets have become an increasingly popular destination for day traders. But unlike the traditional markets, the crypto markets never close. They're going 24/7, and day trading crypto doesn't require a subscription to a brokerage or margin account, making the ability to indulge in short-term trades more accessible than the stock markets. So no matter the market, a day trader should have a thorough understanding of crypto as well as trading principles. Only invest the amount of crypto that you're prepared to lose, which is rule number 1 pretty much in the industry. And if you have impeccable risk management skills and nerves of steel, this is what you need to know to get started day trading crypto. So keep that in mind before you get started. And back to the show here. I'm kind of wondering what would be the best blockchain type trade for beginners to get started.
I think to get started would be something like the Pi transaction.
Okay.
You're going to use your phone to do the mining. You don't have to get into a computer software program. You're going to earn coins every day as long as you keep your Pi asset active, and you're going to get an asset class out of it. You're going to get a coin out of it. So I think the easiest thing to do is to get into one of these phone-based mining programs that are mining, in this case, Pi, but there's other ones out there. But Pi's not over yet. It isn't a coin yet, so there's still time. If you're interested in that, give Matt a call, and he can get you his link.
Yeah. Mike has a link also. But the Pi is getting ready to issue their coin, and I think they said within the next month or two, right?
Well, it's got to do with know your customer. They're going to have to get. Here's what's good about Pi. When they started Ethereum in 2008, there was 1 million people in Ethereum, and it came out, at let's say $1,000, but Ethereum had 1 million people in it. When they start Pi later on this year sometime, it's going to have 29 million people in it. All KYC, all know your customer. So you take anything, will it come out 20 times worth Ethereum was? I don't know, but 29 million people has gotten some attention, like an Elon Musk. Elon Musk said, if I go to Ethereum to sell my solar panels, why don't I do it on the Pi network 1 million versus 29 million. And the bigger the network, the more it's going to garner for people trying to sell their product.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of interesting, I thought.
Yeah, I haven't heard much from Elon. He was talking a lot about the Pi network, but I guess all his attention's been taken up by Twitter.
Yeah, he wants that Twitter, which I don't know what he's going to do with it, but you haven't heard him talk about Pi as much. But all I know is he said, hey, I can go through the Bitcoins or the Ethereums, but that's 21 million, that's a million. This is 29 million on a new coin. And that's attractive to him, and I'm sure it's attractive to some other people. And I say that because when this goes into a coin, what's it going to trade at? It's not a coin now, it's just a mainnet. So when it transfers into a coin, what's it going to be worth? And it might be worth a little bit more than you think because of the big network that it's created.
Yeah, yeah, that's interesting. Now, I read an article here on Sunday. An attacker managed to drain around 182 million of cryptocurrency from the Beanstalk network, which I'm unfamiliar with that one, but it's a decentralized finance, and we're going to talk about that in a future show too. Also called DeFi project aimed at balancing the supply and demand of different cryptocurrency assets. And notably, the attack exploited Beanstalk's majority vote governance system, a core feature of many DeFi protocols. The attack was spotted Sunday morning by blockchain analytics company PeckShield, which estimated the net profit for the hacker was around 80 million of the total funds stolen, minus some of the borrowed funds that were required to perform the task. So, when these cryptocurrency funds get stolen, remember that they're all labeled. They know where that currency went, and so it will probably be recovered at some point. And the latest part of that came from the hackers in New York that stole Bitcoin about 2 years ago, and it was finally recovered here just a few weeks back because it can be tracked. So don't steal Bitcoin.
Steal one
the
of the
message
other,
there.
Steal
Okay.
one of the other ones.
Yeah,
Yeah,
steal one of the other ones.
Matt, I want to leave you with this idea. If you look at it like I have, and it's just a trading vehicle, and it's been very successful using stock technical analysis on this new asset class, give Matt a call because he can certainly get you in touch with me, and I'll show you more detail what we're doing.
Yeah, give us a call at the numbers I mentioned. 314-781-7612 is one number. The other one is 877-212-1400. And then again, you can go ahead and check out our website at ccod.us and leave us a message there. We'll get back in touch. And listeners, I see that we're about ready to wrap up the show today. We really hope that you enjoyed our new show, and we'd love you to tune in next week when we continue to explore the world of cryptocurrency. So have a great week, and don't take any wooden crypto.